and try not to bring scholars to teach us or to tell us what's happening, because we thought that the people who will be convening here are aware enough of what's happening. They are aware of the American political system. So we thought, let's do it in English, and let's do it to show that we are interested in these elections. So we want it not as a conference, but as a debate. So what we want basically here is to hear from you. We brought a couple of distinguished scholars, of course, to tell us, but briefly, about 10 minutes for everybody. But the main part of this debate will be listening from you. What do you think about this election, which are very peculiar, very different from all the elections that the United States, knew in the past? Because I think, and you will be debating this, but this is the first election that's about the characters, about the personalities of both candidates. In previous times, previous elections, the elections were about programs, economic program, political. And now, since 9/11, the focus was mainly on terrorism, and, which is really happening, right, with all Donald Trump's remark about immigration, about Muslims. So there are a lot of talking points, but we'll be glad to hear from you, and thank you, welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. HASNAOui, for your very insightful speech. Now we give the floor to Mrs. Lamia Bazir, the president of Al Akhawain Alumni Association. You have the floor.
So, on behalf of Al Akhawain Alumni Association, I would like to welcome you among us today in this very important event. I prepared a speech, but I forgot it. It's part of my nature, as those who studied with me know it very well. But I wanted to warmly thank Mr. HASNAOui, the General Director of Radio Plus, not only for this invitation and these synergies he's creating today, but for his vision for this event. Because as he expressed it, it's very important for us as Moroccans to show that we are not only interested in the US, but directly concerned by what's going on in US politics, and the future US president will actually define our relationships, but also the quality and quantity of friendships we will build in the future, the quality and quantity of investment we will bring, and tourism we will bring from the US, and that's why it's very, very important for us to give importance to this event. I also wanted to highlight the fact that when this idea came out, I really thought it was the best opportunity for us as alumni from Al Akhawain University to play our role. As you know, Al Akhawain was a pioneer in adopting the American system education, but also English as its language of teaching, and it was one of the universities that understood that opening up to the world was essential to our growth and development as a country. That's why I think, because of this legacy, as alumni, we need to bring out our interests, value economic debates, and create synergies with other networks of active youth, such as the Forum of Moroccan Youth for the Millennium or the Moroccan American Friendship Foundation, to create kind of synergies and positive energy and have value in society. And also what I wanted to say is it's very important for us, and the format shows it, to open up. We have a panel of experts who will highlight important points and give us insights on the political, structural, institutional dimensions of these important elections. But more than that, what we want today is to hear your voices. It's really important for the Moroccan people, the Moroccan civil society, and the Moroccan youth to speak up and to say what matters to them. And that's why we conceive this event in a spirit of generosity and sharing, because we are living it through Radio Plus, so that Moroccan auditors and Moroccan friends who could not be among us today also hear what we have to say and participate with us. Without further ado, I want to thank you all, and let's the show begin, I guess.
I was just told that I have to tell you that this conference is on live stream on Facebook. Yeah? Radio Plus, that you can share as well. So our last welcoming remark by our partner organizer is Mrs. Amina Tubali. She was currently, just recently elected the president of the Moroccan Youth for the Third Millennium. Let's give an applause to Mrs. Tubali. The speech is going to be in Arabic. I don't want to actually waste time to give the translation. I'd be happy to share it with you. So Mrs. Tubali, you have the floor.
السادة ممثلي وسائل الإعلام المحلية والدولية، إخواني الشباب، أخواتي الشابات، أيها الحضور الكريم، السلام الله عليكم. بداية اسمحوا لي جميعا أن أرحب بكم في هذا اللقاء الهام المنظم بين منتدى الشباب المغربي للألفية الثالثة وجمعية خريجي جامعة الأخوين بشراكة مع إذاعة راديو بلوس من أجل نقاش تفاعلي جاد، والذي سوف يؤسس لمحطة جديدة في التداول والنقاش في السياسة الدولية مع الفاعلين في التأثير حول مجرياتها. ولعل الانتخابات الرئيسية الأمريكية تشكل لمحة حول طبيعة المواقف والسياسات والقرارات التي تختلف بين شخصيات متنافسة ومرجعية حزبيهما على طبيعة الأحداث الدولية، حيث نتمنى أن تنتصر أكثر للسلم والسلام. ونعبر في هذا الإطار على الاعتزاز من موقعنا كشباب عن طبيعة العلاقات المغربية الأمريكية المتميزة، ونسعى أن تتطور أكثر لخدمة كل القضايا الاستراتيجية بين البلدين ولخدمة قضايا التنمية وقضايا الشباب والإنسان عموما. إن هذه الانتخابات الرئاسية لا تعني المغرب، بل تعني العديد من دول العالم من خلال ملفات شائكة ومتسمة بالحزن والألم على الوضعية التي آلت إليها العديد من دول كانت تعيش بالأمس القريب تنعم بسلم وهنا، حتى أضحت اليوم ركاما وأنجبت العديد من الضحايا. وحيث أن جرائم الإرهاب في تزايد وتردي وضعية حقوق الإنسان في العديد من البلدان ومحاولات التشويش على استقرار دول وتنامي الفقر وعدم إيجاد حل القضية القومية الفلسطينية وتهديدات ما يعرف بداعش وتنامي البطالة في صفوف دول العالم العربي والأزمات الاقتصادية والحدودية بين العديد من البلدان إحدى محاورها بين المغرب والجزائر، فإن المجهودات ينبغي أن تنكب وتنصرف إلى تقوية فرص حقيقية للتعاون والتضامن والتواصل وتقوية السلم والسلام الدوليين. أما تنمية الحروب أو افتعالها من أجل المصالح فلا يمكن قبول استمراريتها، حيث بالإمكان أن تحقق تلك المصالح من خلال شراكات رابح وليس عن طريق الحروب وتدمير طرف ليربح طرف آخر، فيكون الخاسر هي صناعة مأساة جديدة تنضاف إلى مآسي كثيرة بأعداد كبيرة من اللاجئين. كل هذا يجعلنا نوجه على إطارنا هذا منتدى الشباب المغربي الألفية الثالثة رسالة إلى جميع صانعي القرار الدولي وإلى كل دول العالم أن مسار التنمية ينبغي أن يكون الهدف المشترك بين دول العالم، وتقوية الديمقراطية وثقافة حقوق الإنسان والأمن الغذائي والسلم والسلام الدوليين والحفاظ على هذه الأرض التي هي ملكنا جميعا وللأجيال القادمة، هي مداخل الأساسية لمشترك الإنسانية التي نتمنى أن تكون مدخل البرامج للمرحلة المستقبلية لمستقبل أمريكا والعالم. وشكرا لك على هذا.
Thank you, Mrs. Tubali, for your remarks. Now we're going to start our debate. Just a reminder, as you see, we are all equal. There is no stage, where you have, the experts talking and you going to ask questions and answers. So we are all equals today. We'd love to hear from you. We are here to engage. I see like a lot of professionals, people who have been abroad in the United States, and they know, they have an idea, insight. So we'd love to hear from you. It's not going to be only questions, but your insights also are very important. Just a quick announcement. After the elections, after November, we are planning, the associations, the partner organizers are planning to organize the winner, whether Trump or Hillary, 100 days office of either Trump or Secretary Hillary Clinton. So there will be another follow-up after November the 8th. So let's start, let's begin. So as I explained at the beginning, that the common US presidential elections draws a massive interest worldwide because the election's outcome will obviously have a strong and decisive impact on the world economic and political prospects for the coming 4 years. The US being still the largest economic, military power in the world. But there is also the extremely polarized candidates profiled during these particular elections. Secretary Hillary Clinton, the first female candidate to compete for US presidential elections, and famous serving public figure who has been part of the establishment and the political scene for more than 35 years, having also lived in the White House as the First Lady in the Bill Clinton presidential era. Let's move on to Trump and the Republicans. The Republicans' presidential candidate, Donald Trump, a very controversial figure, a famous US real estate tycoon known well in the American media through his flashy professional career and famous TV program, The Apprentice, and who portrays himself in those US elections as not part of the establishment and campaigning as being the ideal candidates to bring some fresh air to the way politics are run in Washington, D.C. Tonight's debates, we are going to discuss all this. I am actually on my left, I have Mr. Dr. Nizar Misari, who is the current Dean of the School of Humanities and Social Sciences at HASNAOui University. Dr. Misari holds a PhD in International Studies from the University of Miami, Florida. He held different teaching positions in Brazil between 2009 and 2001 and 2009, and mainly at the Pontifical Catholic University of Rio de Janeiro. He is a member of several international associations, and in particular the International Studies Associations. We have next to me Mrs. Miriam. She sent me her bio at the latest moment, so I didn't print it out. Bear with me. So, Mrs. Miriam Eitbasha is the Director of Strategic Business Partnership at the American University of Leadership. She is a graduate of the American University of Leadership, where she received her MBA in Marketing and Communication. She holds a Master in Project Management. After her graduation, she launched her career as a project manager in a training company APD Maroc and a branch of APD Spain. She is in charge of establishing and managing international partnership with universities, corporates, and non-governmental organizations. She is currently the Strategic Business Partnership Director at the American University of Leadership and Subsidiaries. Lastly, our last expert, Dr. Sami Badran. Dr. Sami Badran, who is a PhD candidate in the Department of Political Science at the University of Kansas. His research focuses on the contentious politics and social movements within the Middle East and North Africa. He is currently in Morocco. He's doing his Fulbright scholarship, where he is doing his PhD research. So thank you, and thank you so much for being with us here, all of you, all three of you, tonight. My first question regards. Let me start with three of you. Let me start with the last three televised presidential debates that took place between Secretary Clinton and Donald Trump. They've had a very large audience. The first one drawing a new record audience of 84 million in the U.S. followers in the U.S. alone, and were described by many media outlets as the most vicious and most nastiest presidential debates. Any thoughts on that, Dr. Misari?
Use this?
Yep.
Well, in some electoral cycles, debates are not that important, and their impact is not that significant. But in this electoral cycle, I have to admit, one has to admit that the impact of the first debate was very important, in the sense that Donald Trump didn't. Donald Trump didn't have a good performance. Hillary Clinton outperformed him clearly, And after the debate, he dug a hole and kept going into the hole, and didn't manage to get himself out of the hole. So right before the debate, when you look at the opinion polls, it was a close call, and Donald Trump had managed to close the gap between him and Hillary. But since the first debate, we started seeing the gap widening between the two candidates. So yes, in this electoral debate, in this electoral cycle, one can say that the debates had a major impact in shifting opinions and making Hillary as the clear favorite. But whether she will win is another story.
So how about you, Mrs. Murray? What do you think about the latest, so the two latest debates, the three debates actually, comparing the two candidates?
I have to agree with Dr. Okay, because that is not working, but I think everyone can hear me. So I have to agree with Dr. Misali about. So I have to agree with Dr. Misali on the nature of these debates. It has changed everything about the opinion polls, but I want to go back to the nature of this relationship about the candidates during the debates. I think that it got too personal. The two opponents were attacking each other on their past mistakes. It was not about the agenda, it was not about their program or what they can do for the US, for the citizen, or for international foreign affairs. What they have really thought about doing during these debates is trying to highlight each other's mistakes, trying to picture the other opponent as a monster, and not giving US citizens a clear idea about what they can be doing in the future.
So can you give us just an example about like Hillary and Trump, something like, that maybe will make the panel laugh a bit? I mean, okay. Jokes, I don't know.
Hillary calling him a puppet, and him answering, no, you're the puppet. Okay. This was very childish. Or him bringing up the Clinton affair, and this was his big mistake, or denigrating her as a woman. That was the mistakes that happened, and she was attacking him on having Mexican steel, Chinese steel, or having Mexican workers. So that was that was mistakes that both of them were using against each other's, to draw attention out of the question, especially in the third debate when Wallace was asking questions. Sometimes they were not even answering; they were just bringing up old stuff, old stories, and old jokes.
So as far as I understood, it's mainly like personal, based on the personal, rather than just going straight to the.
Because at times they were speaking about actual facts, like the question when they were asked about the court, when they were asked about the abortion law. But then, when it was about immigration, there were attacks. When they were talking about the Syrian problem, it was more personal attacks on Hillary past and about not doing her job, and her about making him just trying to picture all the immigrants as enemies of the U.S., as thinking about a massive deportation.
Your thought, Dr. Badran, about the debates, the last three debates, as an American citizen.
Yeah, this really has been an election of firsts. They've been focusing more on the characters of Trump and Clinton, more so than issues. The last debate had more substance than the first two, I think, but I mean, it feels like watching The Apprentice or some show on TV more so than a debate. And it seems like the debates had very little effect on swaying voters one way or the other. People who support Clinton will keep supporting Clinton. People who support Trump will probably not change their minds due to these debates. So with that said, a lot of people watch them, they're entertaining, but I feel like the effect they had is very limited, especially considering debates in the past.
It happened also, like recently there was a charity event that actually was held in the United States. Tell us more about it. Like, it was really Trump, he was really into Hillary, he was a bit harsh, and he broached up again the problem, the mail, the emails problem, etc. So what is your thought about it, about this, you know, the charity events and the two relations again.
Which charity event? The Clinton charity?
No, there was a charity which was held in. Yeah, you want to talk?
Was it the one organized? I mean, like Hillary when she gave a speech during with Goldman Sachs people and.
It was just
I think yeah.
yesterday.
Was it? Oh no, then it's not okay. No.
Maybe let me. You want to say about it something?
Maybe this is just an example, and we can go to something.
Yeah, there was a
larger.
charity held in Washington D.C. Yesterday, and again, where it's a yearly, it's a charity that is happening before the elections. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I blanked on that. Sorry. Yeah, I watched the clips of that, and it was again unprecedented. They didn't so much focus on keeping it bipartisan and being formal. The Trump attacked Hillary pretty viciously during the charity, and I think Clinton said some pretty mean things to Trump. So it felt like the debates again attacking the characters.
But to his credit, Trump said that he didn't know why everyone praised Michelle Obama when she made her speech. And then when his wife made the exact same speech, everyone was against her. So.
Yes. Go ahead. You want to ask?
I just want to say that the debates in this case are very. They attract a lot of attention, tensions, and so on. But I think it's also very symptomatic of this generation. I think we are a generation that is also very influenced by TV shows, by this kind of idolic culture that is raising with American Idol, this kind of TV shows. So, and this is transferring to politics. This is something we should really analyze somehow, because our generation has also been more attracted to what makes noise rather than substance. And I think this can sometimes, maybe not in these elections, but sometimes in the future, have a direct impact on presidential choices. And that's why I think we have to equip our youth with more analytical skills, but also try to diversify the kind of sources of information, the kind of activities we follow, because this kind of media influence on our youth can have political impact later on. However, when I wanted to say something I appreciated but paradoxically in this debate is the fact that the two candidates were very mean to each other, also make them sometimes deconstruct some aspects of politics that no one has talked about so far, like the power of the lobby, like the fact that whoever is the president, what matters is those who are behind the curtains and who control politics, not only in the US but in the world. And that is very important. That is something that more people are becoming aware of, and something that also Bernie Sanders raised. It's really important for us also to question the system and capitalism as such. And that's something that was raised in these debates and not in others, I think, which is a progress somehow.